and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the receiver of revenue statements for the County Executive of the financial year or for the financial year 2024-2025, and management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the County Revenue Fund for the County Executive for the financial year 2024-2025.
Auditor General, are we ready to proceed?
Thank you, Chair. The responses were brought on time and we are ready to proceed. Thank you, Chair.
Clerk of the Senate.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the responses were received in time.
Okay, if that is the case, honorable members, we may proceed, but we first need to establish a few preliminary matters. The Senate made a resolution on the 31st of March, 2026, to adopt the report of the Auditor General on Nakuru County as is, because the executive failed to appear before this committee. Secondly, the Senate made a resolution that the Governor Nakuru be fined 500,000 Kenya shillings in her personal capacity for ignoring summons to appear before this committee on 30th of March 2026. Clerk, can you confirm whether the fine has been paid?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the check has been paid. The fine has been paid, sorry, and we have the banker's check with us.
Okay. The third resolution of the House was that the Governor appear before this committee within 30 days to explain measures taken to close the non-conformances highlighted by the Auditor General. And that is the agenda of our meeting today. The fine having been paid, I believe, members, we can proceed now. We will start with the report on the County Executive, then go to the report on the receiver of revenue, and finally the report on the County Revenue Fund. Since we have spent quite some time, about an hour, going through this report, I can confidently say that half the work is already done, and the other half will now require the Governor to respond. We will categorize the issues in this report into three. The first category are the issues where the Auditor General is satisfied that the county has taken adequate measures. We will not waste time on those. The second category are issues that require further explanation by the Governor. We will spend more time on those. And the third category are issues that can be pushed to be considered in the substantive audit for 2025-2026, which has already begun. I believe the Auditor General is already on the ground. So we will isolate the issues which we must deal with here and the issues which shall be pushed to the next audit cycle. So let's start with the report on the Executive Auditor. Tell us what your opinion was, and then we go to the basis of that opinion.
Thank you, Chair. For the year 2024-2025, Nakuru Executive Office got a qualified opinion, and it had issues, 34 issues. 9 of the issues were on financials, and 2 on emphasis of matter. Other matters which relates to prior year issues was 1. Under lawfulness, we had 20 issues, and under internal controls, we had 2, a total of 34 issues.
I think just to correct you that prior year issues were 41, not 1.
I've mentioned the number. We categorize at 1 issue.
No, but when you go to the breakdown, it's 41, so it could be misleading to say Chair. It was one issue.
Noted. Thank you.
Yeah, fine. So let's start with your basis for qualified opinion. You had inaccuracies in the financial statements, and we are not going to waste too much time. If financial statements are inaccurate, then the preparers of those financial statements have no business being in office, if that is the case. So tell us whether, in your view, the financial statements are still inaccurate on account of the 2 issues that you highlighted there.
Thank you, Chair. As per the verifications and the reconciliations that were brought, the financial statement is now accurate.
So the irregular transfer to other government agencies, that has been addressed?
Thank you, Chair. This one, the reconciliations were brought and they are adequately addressed.
Unsupported adjustments balance.
These adjustments were based on the adoption of the accrual, and in our cash basis transactions, we used to admit purchase of things like seedlings to the farmers as acquisition of assets, and because we are adopting the accrual basis, those things cannot be categorized as assets to the county, so they have to be adjusted accordingly and removed from the assets register. So they were adequately addressed.
Okay, so if those would have been outstanding, we would have declared CPA Evelyn B. Kakai, the signatory to these financial statements, unfit to hold public office. Thankfully, the Auditor General has given us an assurance. Let us go to the other issues. The issue number 2, property, plant, and equipment without ownership documents.
Thank you, Chair. This issue is still outstanding, and if I may read.
Please proceed.
The statement of financial position reflects property, plant, and equipment balance of 23 billion as disclosed in Note 26 to the financial statement. However, review of the property, plant, equipment records revealed that there were 218 motor vehicles which did not have logbooks and 878 parcels of land without title deeds or allotment letters. No explanation was provided for the absence of ownership documents for motor vehicle and the parcels of land. Further, the land register indicated that 10 parcels of land had been encroached by illegal settlers and private developers, and management had not taken any action to reclaim or settle the matter, to acquire titles or encroach parcels of land. In the circumstances, the accuracy, completeness, and ownership of property, plant, and equipment balance of 23 billion could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, as is the standard practice, the Auditor General has read out her finding. You will respond by, first of all, reading what you tabled, and any explanations can be done later. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. 218 motor vehicles, Honorable Chair, the 218 motor vehicles form part of the 798 total county fleet of both.
Sorry, Governor.
Sorry.
Just for us to be able to follow, honorable members, are we all on the same page? Yeah. So that's page 219.
So sorry, in future I'll say the page.
That's page
219.
Page 219.
Yes.
Okay. If you are on the same page, then we could proceed. I think that there are those annotations or those colorful.
That it's volume 1.
Yeah, this is a very unique way of arranging documents. Governor, tell your team when they are labeling the documents.
Yes.
The annexure number should be the top document.
Sure.
It is not possible for you to open 2 documents and you see it's volume 1. Let it just be on top for ease of reference. And I've also seen, Chair, for the first time, an entity splitting its response. So you can imagine this entire bundle of papers was to respond to that query number 1 that we were dealing with.
Let's look at the substance. The form is foreign, but let's look at the substance. Page 219. Okay, proceed.
Okay, Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair, the 218 motor vehicles form part of the 798 total county fleet of both motor vehicles and motorcycles. Out of the 798 total fleet, 488 motor vehicles and motorcycles were inherited from the defunct local authority and devolved functions. 245 motor vehicles and motorcycles have formally been transferred to the county government by the IGRTC, leaving a balance of 243. The 878 parcels of land without title deeds or allotment letters form part of the total 1,856 parcels of land in the possession of the county government, classified as follows in terms of the ownership documents. The ones with titles are 151, Without titles are 878. New identification, 827, making it a total of 1,856. The management has taken the following steps to address the gaps in ownership documents. The county has paid part of the requisite NTSA charges of Kenya shillings 2.5 million to enable processing of logbooks for motor vehicles. An additional amount of 5 million is awaiting final payment to completely put to rest the logbook issues. Appendix 2.1, RTGS payment schedule, 218 for the 218 list of motor vehicles. Number 2, the management has further allocated funds in the upcoming financial year 2026-2027 to process title deeds for the parcels of land without ownership documents. This will supplement the efforts the management has done through a supplementary allocation for processing the title deeds. 3 million has been processed, awaiting payment to various government agencies dealing with processing of the title deeds. Appendix 2.2 is the budget extract and list of title deeds. The management has written to EACC to facilitate on recovery of various encroached parcels of land, and the EACC has been able to recover one parcel, one house at Golf Club Road Estate. We are closely working with the EACC for the other recoveries. Appendix 2.3 is the letter to the EACC. 4, the management has formulated an asset management policy that will guide management of county assets. The policy is in line with the PFM Act 2012 and the enabling legislation and policies as guided by the National Treasury. 5, we have engaged the IGRTC to finalize handing over of the said parcels of land through gazettement. Appendix 2.4 is the letter to IGRTC. The management commits to process ownership documents on timely basis for any acquisition of assets.
Auditor General, what's your comment on that response?
Thank you, Chair. Our response is based on the evidence on page 242, where the county government has written to the Intergovernmental Relations Committee on the number of parcels they have, where they have indicated they have 1,460, while the one that was gazetted by the IGRTC was only 98 parcels of land. So we were at loss because if these 1,362 parcels of lands are not gazetted and the committee was tasked with the responsibility of handing over the assets, the county may lose some parcel of land. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe if there are any follow-up questions from members on this, because it has two distinct elements. There's an issue of motor vehicles and there's an issue of land. And I think on the land, we'll probably link it to our earlier conversation on leases. I think we had, in our brief, we had a conversation around leases, which will demonstrate maybe the situation in Nakuru. So, honorable members, because for motor vehicles, really, Governor, this 798 total fleet, if 488 were inherited from defunct local authorities, are they still serviceable? Because that means that at minimum they are 13 years.
Some are, as we still use them, but some are not. But I'll have Mr. Mugoi, the assets accountant.
I don't want us to spend too much time on this because we have bigger things.
That's
and
fine.
Secondly, in your insurance for motor vehicles, have you insured all of them?
The ones that are operable. So the ones that are not, we have not. The ones that don't move, we have not. Right?
So, Auditor, one thing you could help us with in this audit is that these 798 vehicles, how many of them are serviceable? How many, because we have seen cases where counties take out insurance for vehicles that are unserviceable. You could you could do that for us in the current year audit so that we see the value of this 798, so that even when you're insisting on logbooks, it should be logbooks for useful assets rather than just insisting on logbooks for a vehicle that is lying on stones in a garage somewhere. Maybe that could add further value to this particular matter. You could advise us on that and confirm to us whether the insurance cover is applies to all the vehicles, and we find out whether they're taking comprehensive insurance for unserviceable vehicles, as we have seen in some other counties.
And perhaps,
Thank you,
Chair, the Auditor General should also help these entities. Like, if a car has been grounded all these years, Chair, why does it have to be appearing as an asset of the county? What are they supposed to do with all these grounded vehicles?
And then maybe also,
Senator Kiroche?
maybe also to add on that, then if at all the vehicles were transferred from the previous government, maybe the auditor and the Her Excellency Governor, how long does it take? Because it's now 4 years down the line. So we are only remaining 1 year. So I think that should also be clear. How long does one take to transfer assets from the previous government to the current government?
Okay. Senator Cherargei,
Chair,
Governor, just take note of the question.
Out of curiosity to the governor, I've seen this next year 2 to 3. A number of vehicles are grounded, others are operational, others are banned. Yadu wamechoma, and then others, there is no governor indication. You have said you have assets person here. There is no indication whether is banned, is it operational, is grounded, and all of them are no. So this governor that has no indication whether operational or not, what is their status? And then finally, since you run assets register for the assets and plant machinery of the county, finally, what is the process? I think the Public Procurement and Disposal Act allows you to dispose a number of these assets which are grounded. Either you auction them, you sell them, then you can be able to acquire more, because the net effect, if these are not operational due to the and most are grounded, you will end up leasing, which means your lease will be expensive in terms of running cost of accounting. So what is the disposal mechanism, Governor, that you are put in place to ensure that they are grounded, they can be disposed of, so that you are able to get value for money and also get other vehicles to operate? So Chair, that is what I wanted that my 3 concerns.
Okay, Senator Wambua.
2 issues, Chair. One is just for neatness, Governor. Perhaps maybe, I don't know that it's captured somewhere, but when you talk about 245 vehicles and motorcycles, I saw another reference, 488 vehicles and motorcycles. Perhaps it would have been better if you would have told us which number is motor vehicles and which one is motorcycles. The other concern is related to what my colleagues have raised. On the issue of the grounded vehicles, whether they are, motorcycles and motor vehicles, they are grounded, they don't even have logbook. Are they considered your assets? Because the only document for ownership of a motor vehicle, motorcycle, is a logbook. Are they considered your assets? And lastly, I would be happy to benefit from you, Governor. There are some areas, and the chair made reference to it, where grounded motor vehicles and motorcycles, people are taking out insurance policies for them. Even they are also drawing fuel for years. Why can't these vehicles be disposed? What's the challenge? I thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor. We have focused more on the motor vehicle question. I think we'll come back to the land question. Or Senator Muruma, you wanted to, so that the
land question, because you've indicated, or from the query, that the land register indicated 10 parcels of land had been encroached. by illegal settlers and private developers. You are using ESCC to recover the land, and you are indicating that one parcel of land has been recovered. What is the status of the 9? Do you think there is hope to recover the land?
Okay, Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Real quick, not necessarily in the order asked, but I think Senator Wambua has asked if we could break it down. From the 488, the motor vehicles are 350, and the motorcycles are 138. But I also want to confirm to Senator Wambua that as Nakuru County, we do not insure the grounded vehicles or grounded motorcycles, and would definitely not fuel them. But thank you for the concern. Senator Cherargei, in response to the Senator's question, we are not able to dispose, though we are obviously aware of the process to do the disposals, but we can dispose. So once we have the ownership, then we are able to dispose. So we are waiting to get the logbooks, and then we are able to dispose the ones that are grounded and that do not move. For Senator Keroche.
Okay, a quick one on that, just a follow-up on that. So the ones that you have logbooks and they are grounded, have you disposed?
No, we have not. We have not. Sorry, through the chair. On Senator Keroche's question on the 4 years to transfer from the previous government, we are actually talking about transferring from the former defunct, that's what, 13 years now, about 13 years. So it's not from 4 years. It's not from the previous administration. It's actually from before devolution. But we are in the process, and we had to wait for, we are in the process, and we shall get them completed soon, Chair.
Now, Auditor, I think there was a question on why we are keeping them in the assets register despite them being old and unserviceable. I believe with accrual, we are now doing depreciation of assets. So it means that progressively we'll write them down to a point where whichever residual value they would be. Okay. Senator Lelegwe?
Chair, when I refer to Annex 2.1, the RTGS, that payment for the schedule for the 218 motor vehicles, when I go to that schedule, there are several vehicles that do not indicate the status and the location or the operational status of that vehicle or the location of that vehicle, but it is in the list that have been submitted for payment for logbook. So how do you submit a vehicle that you don't know the location and you don't know the status? Just go to that list, you will see some.
Okay, at least
page 223, there is one. The status is not known. Number 9. Then when you go to 224, there is 30, 31, there is 34. Then you go to 25. There are several.
Oh, yeah, so page 223, you are referring to that row number 9?
Yeah.
That vehicle registered in 1980 before you were born?
Okay.
Okay.
My issue is the list has been submitted for payment for logbooks acquisition. So I'm asking whether you can include a motor vehicle that is not, that the location is not known,
and the status is unknown. Yeah,
and there are several.
I'm wondering, there's one that was registered in 1910. Have you seen that one, Governor?
1910.
Number 4.
That should be taken to
Even
the
number 4.
That's actually an asset. Should go to the concourse.
1910.
Number 43.
Even number 10 is another.
It's at page 228. A motor vehicle that was registered in 2011, number 138. It's not, the location is not known, and the status is not known. But I just wanted the governor to clarify whether you've paid for all these motor vehicles included in this list.
Okay, before you do that, Senator Omogeni, Senior Counsel, please go on record.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. My name is Okong Omogeni, Senator of Nyamira, a member of this committee. I'll also be interested just to know what model these vehicles are. There are so many of them, the ones of 1910. At page 224, there are about 3 of them that were registered in 1910.
And the governor has confirmed that it has taken us 13 years, Nakuru County, to know the vehicles to transfer or to know which ones to throw and which ones to register. So I think there is some things are not very clear.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying throwing.
Honorable members, let's get back to this.
Came 13 years
so that I
to do this process.
With
For this
Senator
process.
Karache's, question.
Okay.
Whether to find out from the governor where we have the Nakuru City County as a full, complete asset register. It will be able to answer what Nakuru has. So maybe the governor can tell us what is the status, so that it is easy to assess. But for the 1910 senior council, you can bring concordel guns here in Nairobi. They normally have for the old vehicles.
Okay. Even though your last question, this would be the subset of the total asset register. So as to that question, this is the answer of the asset register. But Governor, you may make a quick response, because I think we have more substantive issues ahead. This one, we are just doing warm-up.
It's okay, Chair. I will hand over to Mr. Mogoi as far as the specifics of the registry. However, I will point again, maybe I wasn't very clear when I talked about the 13 years. It was not that the county government took 13 years to register, but a lot of this stuff is just coming down from IGRTC, the committee, the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and previously held by the State Department of Devolution. So as counties, we are just now getting this pushed over or pushed down to us, and now we are doing what we need to do by keeping the full registers. So Mr. Mogoi, you may proceed with the answer.
Thank you, Chair. All protocols observed. The motor vehicles that are in question from the devolved functions and the defunct local authorities, as indicated earlier, have not been fully transferred to the county by IGLTC so that we can be able to dispose of the grounded motor vehicles, and even a decision for disposal to be taken for the remaining motor vehicles that were long overdue in terms of registration. IGLTC transferred part of the motor vehicles, but indicated that we needed to pay the requisite charges to NTSA, and the payment has been made, that is 2.5 million, to be able to process and have the log books so that we can be able to transfer the same. As pertains to the land that IGLTC gazetted 98 parcels, they gazetted the 98 parcels which did not have any dispute, and they are further to gazette all the other parcels so that we can be able to process the titles at the county level. The attachments are there to support the communication between the county and the IGLTC, who are charged with the responsibility to handle the assets for counties that were devolved. About the status and location of the vehicles, the summary of the list that is given is a summarized list, but the register indicates the entire register is able to locate everything as per the location of the motor vehicles. This is a summarized fashion that has been shared to be able to support the argument, but a detailed register is available for the same.
So I think that's not a very useful explanation. When you come to the Senate, you come with the full details. You can't come with a redacted version and say that there's another version somewhere. Honorable members, I wanted to propose that we ask the Auditor General to go back on this particular query. We mark it as unresolved and ask the Auditor General to look at other dimensions on the number of vehicles that are unserviceable, the issue of insurance, the other issue that one member raised where those vehicles of 1910 are being used on fuel registers. They're drawing fuel from petrol stations. We have seen it in other counties. Please give us an assurance that those things are not happening, and also give us an assurance that if there's any disposal, it's been in line with PPDA, and if there is any valuation or write-down, it is in line with IPSAS accrual. Maybe you can broaden this query beyond just the ownership documents so that we can look at it more critically the next cycle. Honourable members?
Chair, quickly before you conclude, we have so many entities before this committee, and this issue has been flagged quite across the very many counties. This is the issue of asset register. I don't know whether we can have a conclusive approach to this one because it's a matter that keeps on coming before us. For 13 years now, we are talking of assets that are not being transferred from the defunct local authorities and so forth and so forth. It's an issue that is likely to be with us for quite some time. No, even for 20 to 20 something, 20 that you will just find that there's a matter that won't be transferred. I think as a committee we are supposed to have a different approach.
Yes,
so that we conclude this matter once and for all.
I know the governors on their part have been discussing things at summit, and because I recall I was the chair of the Revolution Committee in the last parliament when the governor was our whip. Was he our whip or yeah, and she used to whip us thoroughly. But we concluded, IGRTC concluded matters and forwarded to IBEC and Summit, and they don't seem to be making a decision. I think they are still asking for budgetary allocations to go back and identify assets. So I agree with you that we need to have some finality, but it goes beyond the Public Accounts Committee. We need to involve the Devolution Committee and even the Finance Committee, but also the governors on their side must fast-track issues in Summit and IBEC because we don't sit there as a legislature. Maybe to close it, Senator Cherargei, Maruma, Senator Dulo, so to allow us to move to the next.
I already asked my question on the land. You know, there's a lot of land that has been encroached by the who is who in town, and these people can't touch. I want to find out if these 10 pieces of land that were encroached are some of those pieces that are replicated across Kenya. You can't touch those people. Do you think using ESCC is feasible to get this land? Some of them could be having very expensive buildings. So what is the status of recovering this land through ESCC? That's an important question for me.
Okay, Senator Dulo, then Senator Cherargei, then we allow the governor to respond. You had an intervention, Senator Omogedi?
I just wanted whether we are accepting it on record that the county government of Nakuru has made a request to National Transport Safety Authority, NTSA, to issue them with logbooks for vehicles that were registered in the year 1910. 10 of them. That somebody is paying public money to process a logbook for a vehicle that was registered in 1910. Is that what the Senate of the Republic of Kenya is being told?
Okay, so raises a value for money. For you, it's a value for money question, isn't it?
Can a 1910 vehicle be existing anywhere in the Republic? That somebody can say, let us budget money, we pay NTSA to process a vehicle for an asset. You can call a 1910 motor vehicle an asset,
No,
Chairman. And pay money to NTSA to give you a logbook to show that you own that vehicle. That's what I wanted to hear from Governor.
Okay, Governor, you just note that. Senator Dulo?
Chair, as you've heard from the Governor, I remember over the years we have asked IGTRC to fast-track the process of actually handing over the assets to the county governments. And I believe counties will not be able also to dispose of most of the vehicles unless they are handed over with the logbooks and all that. So as a committee, and I think it's not only Nakuru, most of the counties, they even have vehicles that are scrap metals right now. And even those scrap metals, you cannot dispose them off without the documentation and all that. So from my part, I believe we should be able to call in IGTRC, NTSA to fast track the process of actually handing over all those vehicles to the county government so that they can finalize this matter, because it's taken over 13 years for us to conclude on this matter, which doesn't look very healthy. I thank you, Chair.
In fact, on that point, members, if you allow, and Senator Omogeni, maybe we should be telling NTSA to waive transfer fees where the transfer is not commercial, where it's as a result of that constitutional transition. Because why should they charge a fee for transfer of 1910 vehicles? Maybe it's a recommendation we can make, but the governor will advise us, being the person on the ground.
To add on that, maybe IGTRC should be able to give us the list of all the property, or rather the vehicles, that are supposed to be transferred to those counties. Then we can have that discussion.
Okay.
Maybe we can write to them.
Senator Wambua, but let's avoid reopening or speaking twice to the question.
Chair, we will only speak twice if there is need, and I'm not speaking twice on this, but I'm just wondering what she's saying and what you just said about the transfer of the logbooks to county entities and the inability or the unwillingness of county governments to dispose grounded motor vehicles. The question that we should be asking ourselves is, there are vehicles belonging to county governments which are owned with logbooks. They have the logbooks, they own the vehicles, they are grounded. Have they disposed of those vehicles? So that the non-disposal of the county vehicles should not entirely be blamed on lack of transfer of logbooks to county governments. It's something that we've engaged on very, very many times, Chair. Why do we have so many vehicles lying in yards, some in garages? They will never be rehabilitated. The ones that they have, their logbooks, have they disposed of those vehicles?
Okay, yeah, I think that's a very important clarification. Senator
I don't know whether you can direct the OAG on these annexed on motor vehicles, because they are burnt vehicles, they are grounded, they are also operational, but without legal ownership. Can you direct, because I can see the locations are not known, the status are not known. So is there a possibility of you ordering that in this, to the OAG in this year under review, to follow up on status? Chair, there was a proposal, and now it is towards Parliament, that either through education or any committee, we should, as Parliament, and Senator Sifuna, who might want to run for president, should note this very carefully, we can prepare a policy so that all these grounded vehicles to the government or counties and national should be taken to TVET for our sons and daughters to use for training, especially in mechanical.
Some of them are running archaic technologies.
It's unfortunate, but that is a situation. But instead of selling them without value, we give grounded to TVET for purposes of training. And Chair, this comes in conclusion, sorry for taking long, that there is an NTSA regulations that they want to do inspection for vehicles and all that. So 1910, what will become of it? I know those rules and regulations are coming, and the chair of, I know it's not comfortable me saying this, but I should say it, that there are regulations that are allowing NTSA to do what they are trying to do. So I don't know, we are yet to vote.
So all these vehicles will have to be inspected by NTSA.
Sorry, the report recommended we annul and we celebrate the chair of delegated legislation. So NTSA implementing an illegality. So allow me, Chair, to rest there. Let me not reopen.
Okay, thank
because
you
the man from Taraka is getting spirited.
Let's close the vehicle question and go to the land question.
Point that if Cherargei has any ideas, they're in government now. Let them just do those things he's saying that we should do, because under the next government, we are dealing with electric vehicles and other new technologies. We cannot be teaching our children how to drive a vehicle that was driven by the DC of Nakuru in 1910. That's not possible. So let them just finish. They have 12 months to finish all these things, and then they vacate.
Yeah, I think the World War I vehicles don't need to be taken to TVETs. No,
serious now.
Governor, I think make your response brief, because really we are not talking of loss of funds here. We're just talking about prudence in management of resources.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members. And I like that spirited debate, because actually here we have an issue. One, without the logbooks, even if it's from 1902, we cannot dispose. I mean, we just cannot. We would run, we'll be in trouble. We actually, I'm being told that there's a time before my time where they tried to dispose such assets and they could not because there are no logbooks. So one is that issue of the logbooks. Two, for us, we have made a prudent decision based on finances that for the vehicles we have paid to have NTSA get us logbooks. Those are only the serviceable vehicles, not those that are sitting on stones. But I think, Chair, you have just cracked it. If we could get NTSA to give us waivers on the transfer for those that don't move, maybe at nominal value, then we would be able to dispose of those vehicles, and even if it's 1,000 here, 1,000 there, maybe be able to buy a new vehicle. So that has been a problem. We can't dispose because we don't have the logbooks, and we also cannot go get logbooks for vehicles that are actually not serviceable at all. On the land issue, so that was that on the vehicles. And on the land issue, as we said, we have 10 that we have involved the EACC. Thankfully, one has been returned. The other 9, the investigations are still ongoing. There's also an issue as far as some of the other land from the State Department of devolution, or where they are not, initially they have to identify the land, value it, and then transfer it to us. So they keep telling us there's no budget. So there's also a financial implication that has made the progress very slow. So those are some of the issues as counties we are facing, but I also agree with you, and I think Senator Dulo said it very well. If you could have the GRTC people before the Senate, perhaps they can help hasten or kick the ball further down the road, because they really hold the key to unlocking a lot of this. And when they are slow, we are also grounded. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Mark, so then we maneuver to the land question, because there's a substantive matter there that will bring up the land issue.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I just want to bring to the attention of the committee that when it comes to the transfer of assets, they are broadly categorized into 2. There's the assets held by the defunct local authorities and the assets of the devolved functions. When it comes to assets of the defunct local authorities, there's a Gazette Notice number 2701 of 24th March 2017, which transferred all those assets of the defunct local authorities to the counties as is where is basis. That was done. What is still pending, Chair, is a transfer of national government assets now of the devolved functions like agriculture and health, which were held by the central government then. So, Chair, that's, I think, where we are on that.
So on the issue of the motor vehicles, Auditor, keep it in view, broaden it out so that we can establish whether there is misapplication of public funds. Now, coming back to the land question, let's just, so that we base everything on the report that is before us, let us go to the audit finding on closure of Nakuru War Memorial Hospital, because therein there is a matter relating to leases. Perhaps that will now help us to understand the issue of land ownership and transfer in Nakuru. So, Auditor General, it's in the audit certificate is under emphasis of matter, closure of Nakuru War Memorial Hospital.
Thank you, Chair. The report is on emphasis of matter number 2, closure of Nakuru War Memorial Hospital. As reported in the previous year, Nakuru War Memorial Hospital sits on a